in the land of magic underwear, one woman was bold enough to wear a magic bikini. Hey guys, Wonderhussy here on Stakeout. That's right, I'm staking out a hot spring. And I think the people that were soaking there are leaving now. There's a car pulling out onto the highway. And so I think that means my stakeout is over. And I might as well go over and check out this dang hot spring. Okay, I did not expect there to be anybody at this hot spring. Because A, it's supposed to be pretty hot, and B, it's kind of a hot day. I'm here in July and it's like in the mid 80s. And C, this hot spring is called Stinky Hot Spring. It's supposed to have the most sulfur in it of any hot spring in the state of Utah. And so between the fact that it's stinky, hot, and it's a hot day, I didn't expect anyone to be soaking here. But apparently it's more popular than I thought, so I better get in there and grab a quick soak while I can. Okay, this hot spring, like I said, is called Stinky Hot Spring. And, well, you might be able to tell from the surrounding environment that it's not in a very lush part of the country, which, frankly, is the case with many hot springs. I don't know why that is. I guess they're usually in areas with a lot of volcanic activity, which can be absolutely beautiful, like up in the Eastern Sierra. But a lot of times they're in these kind of alkaline desert areas with pokey plants and kind of stinky water. And woo-wee, I just caught a whiff. This is definitely one of those places. You can see from the water flowing out of this pipe here that there's a lot of minerals in this hot spring, and boy, you can smell them. Actually, I guess you can't smell minerals. You can smell sulfur though. Apparently there's a lot of sulfur in these stinky springs. Oh dang. I just pinched a little nub of this algae off. It's very interesting algae. I think it's actually kind of a beautiful color. Okay, this might not look like the most scenic hot spring ever with a ketchup packet in it. I'll take that with me. A little better than I found it. Anyway, you might not think this is the most scenic hot spring, but I don't know. I think this is, in a weird way, a very beautiful runoff stream coming out of the hot spring itself, which is right there behind me, but I'm going to make you wait just a few minutes more before I show you what it looks like. Anyway, I guess the story with this hot spring is it's on private property, but the landowner allows the public to soak here. And the way I found out about this hot spring is I actually made a couple videos here in this area. 5 years ago I was up here. I did a video at the Spiral Jetty, that big land art installation up at the northern part of the Great Salt Lake. That's not too far from here. And then I went to the Golden Spike Railroad National Monument. That's not too far from here. But I had no idea when I was up here making those two videos that there was any kind of hot spring here until some people emailed me. Wonderhussy, I can't believe you were right there by Stinky Springs and you didn't go for a soak? Well, no, frankly, I didn't. But that's only because I didn't know about it. If I had known about it, even knowing that it was really stinky and really hot, you can bet your bippy that I would have gone into it. In fact, that's why I'm back here now. I happen to be traveling through this part of the country, and I thought to myself, I am certainly not going to miss this experience twice. And I know what you're thinking. Golly, Wonderhussy, you must be crazy to want to even put a toe into this disgusting, sumpy mess. But like I said, man, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I think these minerals are actually really it's an interesting color. There's so many of them that this water is probably really good for you. Yeah, it's hot, but it's not that hot. I don't know. I just feel like since I'm here anyway, I might as well take a quick soak. Okay, anyway, I guess I better not beat around the bush too much longer, because who knows how many more people are going to roll up and take a soak in this hot spring. I just wanted to show you guys what we're dealing with here. This is the overview. There goes the UPS guy bringing everybody their Amazon crap way out here in the middle of nowhere on the edge of what feels like the very farthest fringes of civilization. Again, I feel totally at home. Okay, let's go over and check out this bathhouse. Like I was saying, the property owner apparently just gave up and lets people soak here, even though sadly, from what I read online, that has led to it getting trashed. I mean, I can see even where I'm walking here, there's a lot of little bits of broken glass. There wasn't too much trash in this marsh or runoff ditch. I can only see one tin can, so maybe there's like a local group of, oh gosh, I gotta walk back across this nasty, or I shouldn't say across, I gotta walk back through this nasty, sumpy mess. Ugh. But you know what? It's probably really good for your feet. It's probably like the fountain of youth, and now my feet look 20 years younger. Gosh, I should go roll around in it like a pig in a wallow. Anyway, I was saying maybe there's a group of dedicated volunteers that keep this place cleaned up, because it actually doesn't look that bad, especially considering the fact that it is literally right off a paved highway. Okay, here it is. No more beating around the bush. Oh gosh, I've said this many times. If this was smell-o-vision, holy cow. Ooh-wee, you would smell what I'm smelling, and that is sulfur. Okay, there's 3 tubs. They all have water pouring into them. That one on the right has the most water coming in. So maybe that's the hottest. I don't know. I'm going to put my feet in this first one here. Let's see. Woo! Oh, wow, it's hot, but it's not unpleasant. From what I read online, these springs used to be 104 degrees. Ooh, it is actually really hot, but it's the kind of hot where you almost think you want to pull your feet out. So I'd guess this is like 108. I don't know, I do have my thermometer with me. I'll check in a minute. But from what I read online, these hot springs were 104 degrees until very recently. In 2020, I guess there was an earthquake up here that did something to the underground source and made the hot springs hotter. Isn't that interesting? I've read about that happening at other hot springs, making the pools cooler or hotter after an earthquake. So I guess this is an example of that. They're, from what I read online, supposed to be between 112 and 118, super duper hot, which they didn't used to be until that earthquake. You can see that in addition to there being 3 little stone tubs, there's this, well, frankly, kind of janky OSB windbreak erected. It looks like something out of Mad Max, but I guess that was erected here to keep the blasting winds from chilling you. I guess if you're here in the winter, I don't know, man. It's interesting because there's these bluffs, these rock formations, really beautiful rock formations behind the hot spring. So I would think that the winds would be coming from this way across that open marsh. That's where the Salt Lake is. I would think the winds would come blasting this way, but they have the windbreak put up that way. So bluffs or no bluffs, I guess that's the direction that these biting winter winds must come in when these Utah hippies are trying to soak here in the wintertime. Okay, it's like Goldilocks and the 3 Bears. Now I'm gonna try the middle tub. Let's put our feet in this middle tub and see how hot this one is. Ooh, I'd say this is a little bit hotter than that first one. So what I say, I thought the first one was like 108. I'd guess this one is 109, maybe even 110. Boy, blasting winds or no blasting winds, I bet that would feel amazing in the wintertime. I don't think they get snow up here in this part of the country, but it would be cool if my car wasn't parked there to see a view of this vast snowy meadow and be soaking in this piping hot concrete tub, which is also a very interesting color. This water comes out, I guess because of all the minerals, or maybe because of all the sulfur, it comes out in this really, I think, beautiful green color. Almost like soaking in a big old puddle of Mountain Dew. How does that strike your fancy? Can you imagine a hot spring full of Mountain Dew? Do the do. Boy, you would be energized for life. Okay, let's try this third tub. This one, if my calculations are correct, should be the hottest. Let's see. Survey says hot, but not really noticeably hotter than the other 2. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and say the first one was 108, and these 2 are closer to 110. I think they wrote 107 on the wall there. I don't know if that's an indication of what the temperature is supposed to be, or if that's just some kind of mindless hippie graffiti like the rest of the stuff written on this OSB. I shouldn't say all of it's bad. Somebody did paint a pretty cool dragon on that piece, and you know, it looks like people are trying. I'll bet you anything there is a group of dedicated volunteers that takes care of this place, because it's pretty tidy. There's no trash laying about. There's a trash can, in fact, which I can't imagine. Volunteers must come out here to pick that up, because there's absolutely no way that the garbage collection comes out here. Look, there's even extra trash bags in case you want to go pick up some more. And there's another trash can over on this side, along with a little kind of scrubby broom. And, oh, it looks like there's, well, some rules, for want of a better word. Or, you know, just some pointers, I guess you might say. Okay, I thought this place was called Stinky Springs, but apparently these people call it Three Sisters. Welcome to Three Sisters, a place to heal, a community. Please respect this place. Don't be a pig. Pick up after yourself. Throw your cigarette butts in the garbage. No food and garbage in water. Be a man and help clean up a little. This place is a sacred blessing for so many people. While you're here, enjoy it responsibly. Let's keep it clean and healing for all. Thank you. Wopila Danka Shundahai. Is that some Native American language? I don't know what tribe was from this area. We're in Utah, so I would think it would be the Utes. I don't know. But I guess this is the Three Sisters, and there are people who take care of them. Oh, I actually think that's super cool, because, little known fact, I am one of three sisters, okay? I live with my one sister down in Death Valley. I actually have another sister who's very private, so the less said about her, the better. But yeah, there's three of us. We're three sisters. So these hot springs kind of remind me of me, my sis in Death Valley, and my other sis. You know, I'm kind of tepid. My sis that I live with is pretty spicy. And my other sister, woo-wee. Well, like I said, the less said about her, the better. But yeah, she is a firecracker. Hey, I just noticed something else. There's a glory hole here. I mean, I guess sacred place means different things to different people, but I don't know. Isn't that a glory hole? It's interesting, too. There's like teeth painted around it, so I'm not sure I'd want to put my pee-pee in that. But again, different people have different ideas of getting their kicks. Okay, well, since nobody is at this hot spring, I'm going to go ahead and reach back here into my pantry and get myself, no, not today, Satan, no Fritos. I'm gonna get myself a ranch water. I'm just gonna go in this hot spring naked. Now I know what you're thinking, I'm in Utah. Wonderhussy, you're in Utah, the home of the magic underwear. You ought to at least wear your magic bikini. Okay, then I will wear my magic bikini. Remember, that's all in the eye of the beholder. But actually, the part of Utah that I'm in right now, this particular town, was known as, what they call it, the Gentile capital of Utah. It was built as a railroad town back in the day, okay? Remember I said I went to that Golden Spike National Monument. It's not too far from here, down the road, where the Transcontinental Railroad finally came together. Remember back in the 1800s, the guys from San Francisco were building the railroad east, and the guys from Omaha were building the railroad west, and where they met up in the middle, which it wasn't in the middle, it was farther west, because the guys coming from the east just had to go across the plains, whereas the guys coming from the west had to go over the Sierra Nevada. Anyway, where they met was right down the road here. And so this was a railroad town, and it wasn't founded by Mormons, so it didn't abide by the same kind of Mormon strict rules. Okay, you could drink, you could screw, you could dance, you could do pretty much any damn thing you wanted to. You know how those railroad towns were. Unfortunately, I guess the railroad ended up being rerouted around this town, and it sort of dried up, and now it's just a very peaceful farming community. But all of that being said, it is still sort of the Gentile capital of Utah. And so if there's anywhere in Utah that I could soak naked, I'd say it would be here. Might as well check the temperature while we're at it. I just changed the batteries in that thermometer, so it should be accurate. I'll give it a minute to sit in there and get its reading, and I'm gonna take my clothes off. Although Gentile town or no Gentile town, it does feel kind of weird to be skinny dipping right at the side of a road in Utah. Maybe that's what these boards are for. They're not a windbreak, they're just a privacy block so that these godless heathens over here can soak naked without offending the Mormons. Okay, well, golly, I got into that first pool and it is friggin' hot. Let's see what the rubber ducky says. Oh, yeah, look at that. I don't know if you can read that, but it says it said 108. Now it says 109. Dang it, it did say 108 a minute ago, which means I was right about this first pool. Let's plop this guy into the second pool. Golly, it's so quiet here that I would think I would hear a car pulling up in time to put my clothes on real fast, but gosh, I don't know. Okay, since I'm here, even though this is 108 degrees and it's like 86 degrees outside, I'm still gonna get in for a couple reasons. One, to say I did it. Two, these minerals are supposed to be beneficial, despite the fact that I will probably stink like sulfur after going in here. And three, if you get in a hot spring on a hot day, it actually helps you feel cooler when you get out. Woo, but it is hot, and so I better crack open a cold one just to regulate my temperature. Okay, let's go see what the rubber ducky says about pool number 2. Okay, well the first one came in at 109, so this one I would guess would be at least 110. Let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh, 111. Woo-wee, yeah, this is no joke. I feel like I'm getting boiled alive just standing in this. Okay, well I'm gonna go ahead, in the interest of being thorough, and put it in the third pool, which has this tarp crumpled up in it. I guess maybe they put the tarp over all 3 in the wintertime to try to keep the heat in, but if they're this hot, I don't know why you would have to go through all that trouble. Seems like they would stay hot. Okay, let's let that guy sit for a minute and get out of this hot water and just have a little sippy sip of our ranch water. Man, I actually really kind of dig this setup, even though it's, you know, some might say unsightly or Mad Max. It feels very Mad Max. All these OSB with the weird writing on them and the barbed wire. And like over here, this is some old piece of metal that they attached up here. It's like patchwork, odds and ends, anything they could find. Just really has a Mad Max aesthetic, especially considering there's that anarchy symbol. And let's not forget the glory hole. Anyway, what I was getting ready to say is it's actually pretty pleasant soaking here. That's not a super duper busy highway, so it's only the occasional car that you hear going by. The water, I don't think smells super strong. I'm not a big fan of sulfurous smelling hot springs. But this, I don't know, the smell doesn't bother me at all. I could see it being very pleasant to spend a few hours here on a winter's day with a group of friends. You know, soaking, talking, drinking. Oh, I just noticed something. That far pool, it says 107 above it. Well, this middle one, you can barely see. It's very faint, but it says 105. And then this one over here says 103. So maybe these paintings are historic, okay? They predate the great quake of 2020, when these pools, I thought I read they were all 104, but I suppose 107, 105, 103, that's all kind of in the 104 neighborhood. Maybe these are historic paintings, and I shouldn't be disparaging them by calling them Mad Max or crappy graffiti. I'm so sorry. As a balneologist, I feel I have overstepped my boundaries. Actually, I'm not even sure. A balneology is the study of hot springs, so a balneologist seems like that would be the word for somebody who studies hot springs. Although I don't know that I'm studying them or being very scientific about it, because I mostly just go drink ranch waters and talk about dumb stuff. Although I am here taking my scientific measurements, which indicate that this third pool is the hottest. It's 112. Aha! Science! Maybe I am a balneologist after all. Okay, so my theory was proven correct. I theorized, if you remember, that this would be the hottest tub, and it was 112, 111, and 109. So I guess, well, I was going to say, I guess the source is coming into this first tub, but it looks like it's coming into all 3. And I think the sourcey source, like the ultimate source, is coming in from the other side of the highway. Now, unfortunately, because I'm not wearing any clothes, I can't just go prancing across the road. Well, I mean, I suppose I could, but I don't want to get kicked out of here, because it is actually very pleasant. Somewhere over there on the other side of the road. I'll hike over there when I'm done soaking, and I'll show you guys what I find then. But I don't know, for now, I'm going to enjoy the fact that I'm out here all by myself and just sit here breathing in the sulfur and enjoying the view. Okay, I'll give you guys a 360. I think this is absolutely beautiful. This is high desert. We're at the northern edge of the Great Salt Lake. So there's these rocky bluffs. There's this beautiful sort of marsh. I don't know if this marsh just sort of continues on down to the very edge of the Great Salt Lake, or if it peters out and there's like a dry part in between, but it's just this huge marshy kind of field. You can even see there's like a herd of cattle out there eating that pokey, spiky, alkaline grass, which I guess cattle can get by on. I don't know. I think it's really beautiful. And there's the Wasatch. I think that's the Wasatch Range over there, the mountains. That's where I camped out last night. Absolutely beautiful. and then back around to where the source is on the other side of the no dumping sign. Yeah, it sucks. I really don't want to put my clothes on, but I want to go poking around. That's the downside of this thing being right next to the side of the road. If I was out in the middle of nowhere, I'd just take my ranch water and walk across the highway buck ass naked to go look at this source, but also, I gotta be careful, there are cars going by. I also wanted to check out this old foundation here. I don't know if this was a foundation of a building or part of a wall. Maybe there used to be a wall up around the hot spring, a stone wall. Or maybe that's just the cover for the well. Gosh, I don't know, but look, maybe it used to be covering this. Here's the pipes. I think the one on the left is coming in from across the street with the from the source, or maybe they both are. I don't know. It's interesting. The way that the water is coming out of both of those is making this crisscross pattern, so you can't tell which one has the greater flow. You can just tell they're both going into that one little pipe, which leads in there. Oh dang, somebody's coming. Well, I gotta not be standing out in the middle of this friggin' road naked, or these people from Utah are gonna call the cops on me. I guess I'll just go back and get in this first tub for a few more minutes, since it was the coolest of the three, and, well, finish my ranch water and take a few photos. You know what else I read about this hot spring is it actually used to have a bathhouse around it, so maybe that piece of concrete over there was from the original bathhouse. I mean, you can see that they left the stone tub standing. Well, it used to be a totally enclosed structure, which was probably way better than this busted old OSB board for keeping out the wind and the prying eyes of the local conservative Mormon ranchers, who are probably already calling the police right now. The sheriff's probably already on his way to give me a very stern lecture for not only being naked but also drinking in public. Ooh, better chug her quick. Anyway, yeah, this used to have, I'll zoom out, a bathhouse enclosing the whole thing, but they had to tear it down around the year 2000 because apparently a guy died while he was soaking here. And I don't know if there's any scientific evidence to back this up, but they say that it might have been the accumulation of hydrogen, sulfur, and carbon dioxide gases, because there's so much sulfur in these waters that the accumulation of those gases might have asphyxiated him. And so I don't know if the state made him tear down the bathhouse or what, but the guy left it open to the public, which is, again, salute. Sir, if you happen to be watching this video, salute to you that you allow this to exist and that you allow members of the public to come in and enjoy this. I'm not a woo-woo person, so I'm not going to say this is a sacred healing place, but this is a wonder of the earth. It always chafes me when I see these hot springs on private property. Like, how can you own a hot spring? Now, okay, if I owned a hot spring, I might feel differently about it, but that just seems like one of those things, like, you know, not to sound like a Native American, but that belongs to all of us. That belongs to the earth. And so the guy who owns this, I really respect that he, even after somebody died here, did not shut this down, and that he trusts people to take out their own trash and to pack out the trash on occasion. And I'm definitely going to go around and pick up some trash before I leave. I don't have room in my car to take a whole bag with me. Oh, well, maybe. We'll see what I can do. But anyway, sir, I just appreciate you, and I salute you. Okay, Mormons, you can play this game. Now I've got on my magic bikini, which ought to be enough to protect me from the prying eyes of the sheriff's nosy wife, the sheriff's even more nosy second wife, and the sheriff's even nosier third, fourth, and fifth wives. Just kidding, I don't think the Mormon church allows polygamy anymore. Anyway, I put this magic bikini on, and now I'm invincible, right? Isn't that what the magic underwear do for Mormons? Here in the land of magic underwear, one woman was bold enough to wear a magic bikini. You hear that, Steven Spielberg? Call me. Okay, let's hike over to the other side of the highway and see if we can find where the source is coming in. You know, from this vantage point, I can totally see how I blazed past this hot spring without even realizing it. Even though I drove down this exact highway right here on my way to and from Spiral Jetty and the Golden Spike, I didn't know there was anything there. I mean, in my defense, it doesn't look like anything's there, let alone a beautiful, sacred, healing hot spring. You know what I mean? If you were driving down this highway and you saw this creepy, rickety plywood and barbed wire enclosure, I don't think taking a hot spring dip would be the first thing on your mind. Am I right? Okay, so if we're gonna trace the source from the enclosure, well, we can see that the pipe extends over here and then it goes into this culvert, which I guess runs under this highway, which now is a very good time to cross the highway because there's no traffic coming that way. Well, there's one car way in the distance and there's no traffic coming that way. Again, kind of similar to Tecopa, but there is a considerable amount of traffic on this road. I think there's a big trucking company in this town that is the Gentile capital of Utah. Also happens to be the headquarters for a pretty big freight trucking service. And so I think a lot of big rigs probably go by related to that. Maybe also there's like a Raytheon or something over here. I can't remember. I'd have to go back and watch I think it was in my Spiral Jetty video. There is some kind of industrial thing back over here. And, you know, there's folks driving back and forth from the Golden Spike National Monument and I guess Spiral Jetty. There's some arty folks that want to go check that out. So it's not like there's no reason at all to use this road, but it's still relatively desolate. Okay, well, anyway, here I am on the other side of the road. I guess that culvert, I was gonna say comes out here, or used to come out here, but it looks like it's totally collapsed and stagnant. You can see there is some hot water in that little cave there, which I'm guessing is coming from, well, I was gonna guess this was the wellhead here, surrounded by reeds, this little cement platform. But no, on the other side of the fence here, the pipe continues. So, gosh, the source must be back, maybe it's back in there in these rocks. Dang it, I really wanted to climb up this rock formation so we could get a better view of the hot spring, but it is pretty heavily fenced off, and I'm pretty sure there's a no trespassing sign. So out of respect to the guy who owns this hot spring, I'm not gonna trespass to hike up that formation as much as I would love to, because it would provide a really amazing view of this gorgeous desolate valley. But I respect the guy letting people soak here so much that I'm not gonna do that to piss him off. Instead, I'm just gonna go hang out here on top of this concrete wellhead. I like this spot because you're right at the side of the highway, but nobody can see you. You know what I mean? I could just hang out here and finish my beer and nobody will be the wiser. I feel like that guy from Laughing. Very interesting, but not so funny. Ah, hell, why am I hiding in some tick-infested grasses when I could just be hanging out by my car at the side of the Three Sisters? God, there's a lot of traffic coming down this road. I don't know if it was just like a busy day at Spiral Jetty, or maybe the day shift is over at Raytheon and everybody's going home to Logan, Utah, or maybe they just had a busy day at the Golden Spike. Who can say? Anyway, I'll haul ass back across the road, back to the relative shelter of this terrifying OSB and barbed wire enclosure, and see about figuring out a way to get one of these trash bags into my car. Ugh, gross, man. That's where I sleep. You know, it'd be one thing if I had a pickup truck with a bed. I could have just thrown the whole thing in there, but as it is, I took what I could, and I'll find a dumpster to throw it away in when I get into some sort of town. Just to show, I don't know, it wasn't a lot. I mean, there's still so much garbage in both of those trash cans. Somebody needs to come out here and fill their entire truck bed with the trash. But if everybody did just their little part, these kinds of places would be available more. I mean, this is very remarkable to me that this guy has not fenced this off and put barbed wire all around it. No trespassing private property. If not for the liability, just for the trash factor. You know, it kind of reminds me of the hot spring up in Alkali, Nevada that just got shut down because the previous owner allowed the public to soak there, but he passed away, unfortunately, and the guy who got the land doesn't want the liability of somebody dying or hurting themselves and then suing him. Somebody died right here, and apparently it didn't stop this guy, so I don't know what this dude in Alkali's excuse is. If you happen to be watching this video, let this be an example to you. There are people who do take care of this place. I mean, yeah, now that I'm looking around, there is more garbage. I mean, who leaves their friggin' underwear at the side of the highway. Well, it is very conveniently located right next to a plastic bag, so I'll pick them up and bring them with me. But I mean, come on, guys, were you raised in a friggin' barn? Who does this? When I was just picking up that trash just now from the pools, I picked up a bunch of cigarette butts, shocker, but also a lot of shaving razor, you know, those little plastic caps that go over the end of a razor. I don't know how many people are coming out to this hot spring to shave, but I'm here to tell you, it wasn't me. Okay, I won't gross you out anymore. I'll just show you this delightful pair of somebody's random abandoned underwear instead, because that's likely to get me far fewer death threats. Okay, I'm gonna add this trash to the trash that I already picked up, and I guess get dressed and roll on out of here, because I do see another car that just stopped on the highway, and I think they're turning around to come over here and take a look. What do I care? My work is done. I got here, I came, I soaked, I cleaned up, I conquered. I just have a few sips of my ranch water left, and then I'll be on down the road myself. I just hope whoever's in that minivan cleans up after themselves.